One of the transports moving up the Great Rift with the Rover group was the first to pick up the signal on their short-form sensors. Trevin, the Rover's 17 navigator, immediately sent them into a standard honing pattern, which is similar to triangulation, but acts on variables in the signal strength to locate the source. Based on the initial data, the source was definitely moving, and after about 5 or 6 parts of closing in and slipping off, he sent out the 2 jumpers being carried by the Rover to join in on the search. With 4 cruisers working the ring, it would definitely make short work of centering in, despite the fact that the target was moving. Hearing Trevin on the comms giving progress reports brought back memories of earlier times, when we were exploring, scanning and raising a lot of the moon to the south of us, both expanding the eastern reach of the overlands, and breaking into what would become the Parted, which Trevin and his team and Rover 17 now oversee. What had started as just a simple exploration of the western ridge of the Great Rift, a purely observational venture out of curiosity, evolved into helping establish the overlands and building 2 crossing points that would eventually bridge the Expanse and the Parted. When it was time to put someone in charge of the 2 crossing points and the 4 outposts that resulted, it all went to Trevin's number 2, who had been navigating the other transport in the 2-cruiser team for both operations. It was Trevin's commission to turn down, and he did so, along with a request to supervise the expansion of the Parted, our unexpected gold mine, literally, as we found indicators of precious granite deposits, which turned out to be accurate. This almost required us to modify our plans, as that kind of wealth potential cannot be ignored, especially by a colony that is trying to achieve sovereignty by reaching its building and trading dues as soon as possible. This was normally my job, but since the overlands were still far from stable, it made sense to have a stronger subordinate overseeing such an unexpected, yet unquestionably necessary, region opening. For about 2 parts, we went back and forth as the colors being continued to turn from cooler to warmer, an indication that we were closing in. At times, the strength of the signal would shift oddly, as if the source were somehow making moderate spatial jumps almost instantly. And then there was the message itself. We couldn't make out what was being said, or even guess at what language it might be, for all of the static accompanying the signal. It was then that someone suggested that the static might not be interference at all, but actually part of the language. Our cultural lore includes stories of hybrid beings, organisms that are some inexplicable mix of animal and machine. We know we are not indigenous to our planet, though our annals are not clear how it all came about, exactly, so it is a foregone conclusion in our world that there is life outside of our world, unlike your world, where there is still a lot of speculation on the subject, though, my being here in your world, even occupying a host, should be some kind of proof. Hybrid beings are just a child's fantasy to most, but they do tie into our fables, as well as our people's origin stories, among certain sects of belief. So, as the Rover and its group were focused on the search, directly, Sam's team in our comm center was working on trying to determine what the signal was actually saying. After a while, Dana came to my control deck to tell me that they had just found a loop in the transmission, meaning it was either some kind of help or warning beacon, or it was bait for some kind of trap. It was just about then that the signal went out cold, as if someone had pulled the plug on it. It had gone from a strong signal to nothing at all but static. The next voice we would hear was the report that a transport had just been hit.